And hello, everyone. Welcome to the Real Estate Show on KCMX News Media 880. Pete Belcastro here. Alice Lema is right over here. We're both real estate brokers with John L. Scott in Southern Oregon. We get together with you once a week here on the radio and on YouTube to talk about issues facing real estate throughout Southern Oregon. And well, we love doing it every week, and we're here today once again with you because we got a whole gaggle of people with us today, including here in the red over here is Cheryl Faria, and Cheryl is the president of the Rogue Valley Association of Realtors, and nice to see you
nice
again.
To see you too. Thank you for having us back too.
Well, first of all, I just want to say thank you for your service to the association, because I know busy realtors and you put a lot of time and effort into it. So thank you for your service, first of all.
More than happy to do it. I absolutely enjoy it.
Very hard worker.
And what have you been doing lately since you were last here? You're like running. Tell us what you're up to.
Well, it's actually been pretty busy past couple of months since I was last here. I mean, just kind of recapping the last time I was here. We did come with Habitat, and we talked about how our association has gone ahead and actually raised enough money that we are building the first ever Habitat house.
Wow.
And we went into it thinking we were going to have one, but we actually raised enough funds that we are doing two. It is a zero lot line home, two connected, but we're going to get to help two families. And it was actually just yesterday that Habitat had a barbecue for us out in our Rogue River location. It was great. A lot of people came out for their support. And at this point right now, we have got 13 build days that we're filling, about 20 a spot. Yeah. So about 300 people can come out and help with this project. We got a lot of good signups. Very excited that the walls are raising, and we do plan to be finished by the end of December.
So what kind of skill set do you need to volunteer for one of those build sites?
None whatsoever. We have got all sorts of groups that come out. Some days it may be painting. Other days, I know on one side I was on, we wrapped a house with Tyvek. So it just really depends. And then there's some very skilled people who helped install windows, but caulking, come on, we can do any of it.
That's awesome. So how do people find out about how to get a hold of you?
Talk more so with your offices, because offices are signing up, and then watch our weekly newsletter that comes out Mondays at 7 a.m. That will have also a link in it, because even though the offices are encouraged to be able to grab a build day for your office, in addition to that, we'll have some hodgepodge days where we'll get together groups from the title companies, maybe some smaller offices that need to join with other groups. Each build day will be two segments. It'll be 9 to 12, and then 12 to 3, and 20 people at each time. So you can imagine there'll be some pretty good groups.
And anybody, people can come and do this too. Can they volunteer? Other people in the community to volunteer too?
That they can do through Habitat. Through us, there is an application too that you need to have on file. So we're encouraging everybody to sign up. All
right. Now, how did you get with the Maslow project? Because the people here today, by the way, this is Emily Baer, and Emily's the coordinator, community coordinator, right, for Maslow.
Correct.
And Royal Standley down there, the board member for Maslow. You've been on it for a long time.
Yeah, I've been volunteering with Maslow for about 10 years now.
10 years. Wow. Well, thank you for doing that too, Royal. That's nice to do. And what is it? What's special about Maslow for you? What is it? People hear about Maslow project all the time, and they ask you, well, what does Maslow do? And I don't know.
So what's so important to me and so inspirational about the what Maslow Project does here in the community is they work with kids where they're at. They meet them at the schools, in the community, and work with them to basically give them a framework and to begin to set goals for the future and basically start tearing down barriers for them to be successful in the community. And it's just such a pleasure to be here and to have the Rogue Valley Association of Realtors just buy into what we do in the community with Maslow Project. And it's just an honor to get such great support.
So, Emily, what's the project? And what do you obviously have to coordinate with this group over here? So, tell us a little bit about what RVAR is doing with you for this fall right now.
So part of what we're doing is making sure that our students have all of the supplies that they need to succeed in school.
Okay.
Nationally, only about 25% of homeless students graduate on time, which is, a high school diploma or a GED is one of the biggest deterrents to chronic homelessness. And so our goal is to make sure that these students are succeeding, and we have had a really great success rate right now. We're at 88% for Maslow Project.
That's incredible.
What does
It
that
is.
mean, that kind of thing?
So if nationally only 25% of homeless students are graduating on time, Maslow's case managed seniors are graduating at an 88%.
Really?
Yes.
Wow, that's pretty impressive there.
It's a
So
huge
what does
increase.
RVAR do with this thing? Cheryl, I mean, how are we involved? What are realtors doing to try to help you guys do what you do, which is
Right.
support kids?
School
Right.
supplies. It's a
That's
big
it?
chunk of what it takes to succeed, just to have those things that you need to get the job done.
Okay, so what do you need? I mean, how does it
So
all work then?
backpacks and calculators, anything that a student might need is being raised by the back to school barbecue that they are hosting for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're actually kicking in for our 5th year doing a barbecue. However, 4 years of it, thanks to the help of Susan Ladow from our association, she takes care of our community outreach, our education, and her baby each year is this backpack school supply drive. And throughout the past 4 years, we've been able, through donations of not only school supplies, but also cash donations that are brought into our association. And it could be anybody from an affiliate of ours to an office, public, anybody who would like to support this. And we, have really done some amazing things. Her and her group have actually gone ahead and gotten enough supplies to be able to fill over 500 backpacks. So we've got a tall order to want to go ahead and take care of this year again, but it's exactly what we do.
So, just out of curiosity, what student level are you guys reaching out to and helping with these backpacks?
We're trying to do about 700 this year between Jackson and Josephine counties.
Oh, that's quite a bit. And is there an age range that you're shooting for, or how does that work?
So Maslow works with quite a wide age range. The average age of the kids we work with is 11, but we're really working with kids throughout that kind of K through 12 school-going population. So really kind of a broad range there of what we're looking for school supplies.
I always wonder about. Oh, go ahead.
No, 11 years old, that is so young. So what is the situation with some of these kids that they're needing that kind of help right now?
So a lot of these kids are homeless with their families. This isn't your typical, you think of a homeless kid, you might think of a runaway or someone like that. A lot of times this is a child with a family going through homelessness defined as not having a fixed nighttime residence. So they could be doubled up with another family. They could be living in one of these motels you see along the side of the road. They could be living in a car or camping during the summertime. So we have quite a range there. So a lot of our families I think we're serving about 300 children below the age of 5 years old.
300.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a
That's a
considerable
significant number. Yeah,
That's
that's huge.
quite a few.
And so if we look at Medford School District, 1 out of 10 children in the Medford School District is classified as homeless. So these homeless kids, they don't want to be seen. They want to fit in and be a part of their community. They don't want to be labeled as homeless. So I think a lot of them do their best to really kind of blend in. So it's not like
sure.
you see it, you drive around and you see the homeless
No,
problems.
they don't walk around with something on your wearing something that
Right.
I don't have something like that. No, it's absolutely true. And it takes donations and people efforts to do this. So the problem is really, we think about it as we do sometimes as realtors. We're so busy working, we don't think about that type of problem underneath there, is it? The homeless, the kids, and this kind of thing. And so this is what bringing those things out is really important. That message gets out to the community. Correct?
Yeah. I mean, and that's part of what I'm supposed to be doing at Maslow Project, engaging the community, making sure that these stories are heard, that these students are being recognized for this extreme sort of lifestyle that they're being forced into, not by any doing of their own. It just happens to be where they are right now, and that's why it's so important for us to meet them where they are.
And I think the other great thing we see in Maslow Project is this isn't a one-time thing where we give out some backpacks and then we don't see these kids until next year.
Right. Okay. Okay. Very good. What
So
do you do then? That's
so
a good
this
point.
is part of our case management. Now, we can't case manage everyone. Everyone has different needs there, but we're there and available to walk alongside these children and families to really guide them to the next step. So we know this is a progression, And we have to keep working on getting these families and kids stabilized with the ultimate goal of getting to graduation, either from high school or with the GED, and then hopefully on to, gainful employment. And really, helping these kids define what success looks like for them, and just working with them to remove those barriers that they might have because of their situation.
Mm-hmm. Now, if I want to bring things, I want to donate to this, and you can take cash or just materials, right? I mean, you're talking about
anything goes. Crayons, pencils, anything goes.
Yeah. So this is a good. Is this a good time for people? 'Cause, like we have all these sales coming up. Estate sales and everything around. Is this a good time? Can people clean their stuff out and package stuff and bring it down that way, or does it have to be new out of the store? Or how does that work? You think? I'm curious.
Well, I'd say school supplies are best new.
New.
Nobody
Okay.
wants to use crayons and have a pencil.
Yeah.
But as far as clothing goes, we're happy to accept school-appropriate clothing.
Okay.
As long as it's in good repair. Gently used backpacks we're more than happy to take.
Okay.
Obviously, personal items, underwear, socks, those need to be new.
Sure.
But anything else, we're happy to have. If you drop it off to the resource center, you can bring it to the barbecue.
So now RVAR, you can bring things to the office on Franquette Street, right?
Yes, we do prefer that you do bring it down to Franquette Street.
Okay.
We are having our barbecue kickoff this week, and with our barbecue kickoff is just the opening of the donations. We actually will be collecting through August 12th.
August 12th,
So
okay.
please keep it going. Watch our newsletter, as I said, because we'll make sure and have stuff in there too.
So through August 12th, you can do this down at the office, or they can call. I'm sure people would tell you what to do or where to bring that.
Definitely.
So last year you did 500.
Yes.
Over 500 backpacks full of stuff. That's a lot. I mean, I gotta tell you that's an awful lot.
It is, and it's wonderful that you have the target of 700. That should be pretty easy to do, I would think.
With your help,
Easy to do. Yeah, that's easy to do.
But it's not like they're trying to double, which maybe we should set it a little higher.
Oh, come on,
Yeah.
we're real
Yeah.
We're
No, I'm-
competitive.
If you had those two do that, they would double you. They would double it. Absolutely.
Easily, yeah.
Wow, we can do that. But you're having an effect on kids, and that's the important thing. And I think we don't realize how the situation that we face in our valley, especially in homelessness, as we've talked about this as realtors in our show before, and the success that we're seeing in some of that, in reducing some of that. Are you seeing, before we get, I got a break out here, are you seeing some release of that? Is it the situation getting better, Royal?
Well, I would say in our youth population, because of these great services that our community provides, as well as Maslow Project tearing down those barriers, that 88% graduation rate, those are kids with a chance. They're going to go on, get a job, and move forward. And hopefully we're able to kind of break that cycle of homelessness and set these kids, in a direction that's, sustainable.
And we all feel better and do better when we help each other. And you're doing a great job. So thank you for that. We got a break coming up here. We continue on here in just a minute. We're talking today, by the way, today's program is presented by the Rogue Valley Association of Realtors. RogueValleyRealtors.org is the website there. So again, it's not always about just buying and selling homes. It's also about helping our communities. And this is probably one of the bigger issues we have, really, is kids and homelessness, and trying to get people, especially young people, out into the community successfully and become productive citizens.
And I don't think the community is really aware of the magnitude of the problem for youngsters being homeless. I think this is a really important message to get out.
And it's good that we're doing it. So good for that. We got a break coming up here. Real Estate Show Oregon is our website. We've got a break. We're coming right back with more from KCMX right after this. Welcome back to the Real Estate Show on KCMX News Media 880 and on YouTube at realestateshowOregon.com. Welcome to our show today. Pete Belcastro and Alice Lema sitting behind me today. We got a full house full of people today talking with the Rogue Valley Association of Realtors and about their big project going on about back to school backpacks through the Maslow Project, which is here with us today. And Royal Standley is on the board of Maslow, 10-year service there. Emily Baer is the community outreach coordinator. This lady here is Cheryl Faria. She's the president. She's the big muck of the Rogue Valley Association of Realtors. So we got to be on our best behavior whenever Cheryl's around, just because she's here. And of course, Alice Lema's here as well. We think sometimes, many times, that we just do the same things. We don't think of others a lot of times. And I'm really proud that not only what RVAR does, even with our own office with the Medford Earth Angels Foundation that realtors do and everything. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes that realtors do that don't get noticed.
Yeah, and realtors are surprisingly compassionate and generous. Many of the members of the National Organization of Realtors and our own local RVAR donate out of every commission check. They do community service. They're super active and very, very caring people.
And what we've heard so far, Cheryl, Faria, is that you've got coming up the Backpack Project with Maslow. But you've also got a habitat project where we're going to build 2 homes in Rogue River. Realtors are doing this. I love that part only because it's like putting money where your mouth is. Always, right? We're always talking about housing. This shows it, right?
I mean, anything that we do as an organization is going to support housing.
Yeah.
We get asked to do a lot of things, and the number one thing we ask ourselves is what we're moving towards. Housing-based.
Housing.
That's what we're about, but not just buying and selling them.
Right.
As you know, helping with projects like this, we really appreciate even having some fun doing it. I mean, at our barbecue each year, we do a huge cornhole tournament.
Yeah.
And this year, it is the money being raised for Hearts with a Mission,
Okay.
another to deal with housing. So our things are multifaceted, and just like with our barbecues, the more things we can get underneath one roof, we're going to be raising school supplies, we're going to be raising money, and we're also going to be having some fun.
Yeah,
So
and that's really cool. It is. Well, it's great to hear that Maslow's there and doing well. I know, so I'm in groups, and I know what I hear so much about it is that that you actually are with people, with young people, and you have people in the schools who you work with, and it really makes a difference when you can actually identify kids and work with them individually, isn't it? I mean, that's what you really have to do.
Absolutely, absolutely. It has to kind of be knee to knee. You have to be working with these kids, and gain some level of trust, and start working with them and build that rapport over time. So it's not something where we're just trying to put a Band-Aid on this problem. We're really looking to do that long-term work to help people.
Well, we're going to really great success for the Backpack Project. We want to get 700. We'll have to hear
Or more.
We'll have to see if you hit that goal, and that would be fabulous. You also have another event coming up in August. You said that you're working on. That's a fundraiser for you, which is also, of course, it takes money to do all these things. Let's just face it. So
absolutely. So this is our big fundraiser for the year. We partner with Customs for Kids. It's a large car show out in Talent at the old Walmart, now the Cummins building.
Okay.
So that's going to be great. We're going to have a lot of different cars out there. It's a fun time. It's going to be August 3rd, I believe, 10 o'clock to 3 o'clock. So come out and enjoy the time out there. It'll be a lot of fun there. The other thing I want to touch on is you can go to the Maslow Project website, and we also have the dates for the backpack giveaways as well.
Okay.
We're going to have a big barbecue. I believe those dates are August 14th and 15th.
Okay.
So we're going to spend 2 days doing that. So if you're someone who would maybe fall into that homeless area, give us a call. You connect with us. We're here. We're ready to give that support.
You get the kids and come back to school, and I'm sure you get the fall is a really busy time for you, I would assume, when you see who's out there and you see what the need actually is, and probably very sobering thoughts, probably very sobering to you as well, I would assume, when you do that.
So I'm curious, is there a supply list if somebody wants to put together some number of backpacks? Like, say somebody wanted to do 5 backpacks. Like, is there a list somewhere? How do we find that out?
We do have a list, and I have it on my computer. So if you were to email me or reach out on Facebook, Instagram, I'm all over the place, and I'd be happy to share that list.
That would be great.
All right. All right. Well, we wish you guys luck with that and appreciate that. And thank you for coming and joining us. And we want to make sure that you support that, and we'll look for great success with it for kids as well. So thank you for that. So we're going to switch our attention over here to a little bit regarding the market and what's going on. Cheryl, what do you see? You're over at Keller Williams, right?
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
so you like the big mutt there.
Yes.
So we always talk about what happens in our office. What's happening over there in tell us what you're seeing and your agents are going through right now.
Well, I think the biggest thing, like all of us, no matter what company we're with, we're just in there, still doing our thing. Interest rates being low, it's a great thing. More importantly, too, we are seeing some activity with more houses coming on the market. Things are getting a few more market days than, say, this time last year. They aren't moving as fast, which is nice. People are being able to really make sound decisions. Not seeing a huge increase in pricing. Also not seeing a big flattening. I mean, it's sort of just chugging along,
Kind of
which is nice.
what do we call that? Leveling out, standardizing. Here, look at it.
Normalizing.
I mean,
Normalizing.
hold that one over there.
Thank you.
We are in the normalizing market that we've been in. We started this about in July of last year was
Yes.
when it started. I mean, and Alice was on the show. We were talking about that she seemed like everything had changed a little bit. And we did a thing of, I went back and got the RVAR stats from 2012. I've said this before. The median price of a home in Jackson County today is what? You know what it is?
It's over 300, isn't
300, about 330,000 is the median price in Jackson County today. In July of 2012, it was $145,000. Isn't that just shocking to you?
Amazing to think that.
And at the same time, when we first started doing our show back in 2009, most of the sales were short sales in foreclosures.
Plenty of them. Uh-huh.
In fact, John Scott only had blue pens because some of the offers had to be written with a pen and only in blue, and not all the agents could keep
Remember
that
the
straight.
days.
All right.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
only blue pens in the office.
So if you go back to July of 2012, just showing you how much the market is, 37% of those sales were regular sales, and the rest, so 63% of the sales then were foreclosures and short sales. I don't even think we've had a short sale in several months.
I actually don't know if that registers anymore within
people
our
don't
stats.
even remember. I think
mean,
I've
it's
had
short
one.
sale.
0.001 or
Yeah,
something.
it's amazing. Anyway, but it certainly wasn't that how far our market has come. What concerns you the most about as we're in the summer? As you look at there's always clouds out there, and I always, there's some out there. It's cautions. What do you caution people about today, Cheryl? What do you think?
Well, I think more importantly, with anything, I believe a lot of people are holding their breath wondering if the smoke is going to come.
Yeah.
And that is one thing that this time of the year, everybody gets a little concerned. We are clear, knock on wood, everything's staying good at this point, but that does tend to flatten our market a bit. I'm cautioning a lot of them also, too, to really take the time to drive the customer service home, making sure that our clients are our number one cause, because anytime a market does get good, and us as an association, we are seeing an increase in agents coming in. And with that decrease in inventory, increase in agents, I mean, come on, makes sense with everyone. That's why customer service, I think that is the one thing, really take good care of people, make sure you're following the golden rule.
Yeah, and people are coming from where? Where are you seeing? They're coming from
I
everywhere.
still have a lot of people coming from California, but we also have people who relocated out of our area a few years ago coming back. It's kind of like a boomerang. We have people coming back from Vegas, coming back from Florida, and coming back from Arizona.
But one of the most surprising things to me is the number of families that real estate brings together. We tend to, when you're younger, you split. The kids leave, or you leave, and you go somewhere else. And as we age, we want to come back. That's most of my world. It seems like is
the downsizing and
families coming,
multi-generation.
moving back together, moving to be people from here moving to be closer to their family, or the family moving to be closer to mom and dad taking care of them. That's just an enormous part of this market that goes on, and but it's all part of the mix.
Yeah, and that also goes back to really taking good care of people, because, get to the whole family, be able to help them all and put them all where they need to go, because you kind of already know a background and have a great in with them, kind of like your family, because that's how we become with our clients.
Yeah. Well, I don't think, we have interesting discussions, Alice and I do, about the role of realtors in the future. What is that going to be? And we, after we go through some of as you do, you go through some of the transactions that you go through, and the issues that come up, and the problems that come up, and the anxiety, the frustrations, everything. I can't imagine talking to a computer or somebody sitting in somewhere else and says you don't have somebody across from you who's going to be able to take care of it. It's shocking how important that has become over time to me.
I know what the talk is. I know we're tending towards more of an AI and everything. Quite honestly, we can never be replaced. Zillow is not going to talk to you at 10 o'clock at night when you're stressing out.
Alice, mark that down.
Mark that down.
Okay? Trust me.
Cheryl says
it's still human.
We're going to, they need us.
Cheryl
Therapy
says
is 90% of our job.
It is. No, it is. I'm going to write that down. Cheryl says we will not be replaced by artificial intelligence. Well,
at 10:30 at night.
Exactly. 10:30 at night.
Well, it's quite a market, and I don't know. I'm really concerned about the rural properties. They have not, since the cannabis rush came with us and hit us a few years ago, those properties have not come back in terms of value. They continue to drop. I'm worried about if we see all these thousands of acres coming up with hemp, the views. Do you want to sit there and look at this strips of plastic across the way? So I think those are issues that are going to affect the rural properties more so than maybe in-town properties. Am I crazy on that, or what do you two think?
Well, I think with all the zoning changes and the way that they are making, I mean, when it all started, the rules were rather loose. Now they're starting to make it a little tighter, and I think it is going to do a good thing for a lot of those properties to come back, because you can't grow everywhere nowadays. You got to fit it into a mold.
Yeah.
And I really do think that's going to help a bit. You know, you're mentioning not getting, you know, the views, this and that.
Yeah.
I personally have more concern with the water.
Well,
Water uses.
okay, yeah.
I mean, that's a big thing that's going on. And hopefully, too, that as much as we want to see us strive in our economy with hemp or anything, we also want to protect it. And that
Yes.
has to do with our water rights
And
stuff.
and the reason that hemp is in terms of water use and the land is being ripped up. Cannabis, remember when cannabis was the big gold rush, they were buying properties to grow cannabis on. Hemp is not that way. It is, the land is being leased. I'm walking into your property. I've got $100,000 I'll give you to grow hemp. What are you going to say?
So that's a completely different scenario, but it is shocking that with all of the hemp production, the real property prices have not rebounded.
Well, they're not going to. I think they're going to go down. I think they're going to go down.
And then the other concern, I think, is, I mean, we are all assuming that there's buyers for the hemp products and the CBD oils and such, but if there's all this production and we don't have buyers, then what happens to Southern Oregon?
Well, there's going to be a lot of people going to lose a lot of money then, 'cause there's a lot of stuff being grown right now, and erosion, do it sustainably. This is what concerns me, is that landowners are just saying, come and grow. Are the growers going to be responsible to grow a row crop after this is done, harvested? Otherwise, it's going to wash away.
Yeah.
And we don't want our soil to wash away. So anyway, Oregon State University, you know, they have a whole new hemp consortium going, trying to address these issues. But boy, it's here right now, and it's affecting our real estate market, especially in the rural areas. And I don't think that's going to change. We got a break coming up here. One more segment to go. Gosh, there's a lot going on today to talk about. We got realestateshoworegon.com is our website. We got a break. Pete and Alice and the whole gang coming right back after this. Welcome back to the Real Estate Show on KCMX News Media 880. Pete Belcastro and Alice Lema with you here today. Terrific show is coming up 2 weeks from today, by the way, Alice. We got Jim Stout, attorney.
James Stout, the attorney. He does a lot of classes for real estate agents.
On what topic?
On landlord-tenant, the hottest topic today besides hemp.
Yeah, landlord-tenants. And boy, and we've already got stories to tell about this, don't we? About this landlord-tenant law. It's only been in effect, what, for three months?
And we already have our first 120-day escrow because the tenant won't leave.
That's right, etc. Right? I mean,
That Senate House bill, it has really turned our whole landlord life on. I mean, it's just completely
head.
different. Yes,
totally different world. It really is.
Nice way of
And
putting it.
and again, as sellers or buyers, you have to be, especially if there's a tenant in the house, you have to be prepared for a 90-day close. Right? I mean, 3-month close. It's the way it is.
And that means you got to iron it out with your lender if you're getting financing, because a lot of lenders are not excited about that long of an escrow. And one of the things I'm noticing in the rental market is that the prices, they're going down a little bit, but not very much, and there's still a lot of competition for housing. And with the Maslow people here, I'm wondering how that new law is affecting homelessness for some families with young children, if that is maybe in fact contributing to that.
Well, I think the high cost of housing here in the Valley has been a contributing factor to homelessness for probably the past 5-6 years.
Long time, yeah.
Yeah. So these laws, you know, I don't know how much direct effect we have at this time, but if we're talking about housing, one exciting thing that we're starting to see is we're partnering with the Housing Authority here in Jackson County, starting to bring in some housing for our clients here, where we're doing the case management, Housing Authorities doing the placement, and so we're getting some traction there.
That's good to hear that. I'm glad that.
Yeah, because the inventory is so low, especially for lower income there.
And we've been talking about that a long time. And there's simply no, I don't know what there's no solution. There's no like simple solution to any of this. And we talk about contractors and what are they building and why aren't we building some more of this? And we don't. It's just. It's
a fascinating problem. I mean, you look at the way we've really kind of built everything around single-family houses.
Yes,
and maybe that's not the way the future looks at this point. So,
Royal, you're exactly right. We've been talking about this. You hit it right on the nose. We have overbuilt just 3 twos all over Jackson, Southern, all over the area, right?
Well, and that's what people were saying they wanted. And so then we ended up with this huge housing crisis on many levels. And so now we're trying to resolve it as a community.
I'm wondering if what you both see in Maslow, the world, are we going to see as we can make it easier for additional dwelling units, for rental properties on existing properties. And now we have the new rule, Cheryl, that they passed where you can build a 2, 3, or 4-plex on any single family lot now in the state of Oregon in cities over 25,000. Is that going to have an effect on any of this?
I would say absolutely. The more inventory we have, I think in Josephine County where I live, we had a below 1% vacancy rate for what seemed like 2 years.
Same way here,
yeah. And it's virtually impossible to find that affordable housing. We saw rents spike up so dramatically. So yeah, I think more inventory, more households that we can find places for these families to live. Just going to be a benefit, I think, for everyone.
I can't wait. Write this one down. I can't wait till the first contractor wants to build a 4-plex on a single-family lot in Medford or Grants Pass. I guess is the only 2 you can do it in.
Well,
right?
When we had the director of the planning, Medford City Planning, one of the things that we were talking about is theoretically the CC&Rs that are in place in these residential communities do not supersede the law. The law supersedes the CC&Rs. So theoretically, we could take a house way up in the hills, really big house, take it down and put up 4 townhouses.
Oh, my favorite one is we can put up a 4-plex in the Eagle Point Golf Course community on a lot. That would really be an interesting thing. So there's changes coming, I guess, is where we're at today. I feel there's some changes coming, and there's certainly movement there. So maybe we're going to see some good results, hopefully, soon, right?
I think they're getting more creative with helping us to be able to have different options. Just like you mentioned, Josephine County. I mean, one thing up there is they do have that additional dwelling space unit, the new ordinance in. I understand you're getting some pretty good results up in there, and I hope to see it come down here.
Really?
That way we're seeing it on both ends, both counties sort of on the same page with letting people build upon more housing.
I think that's certainly a solution. And if sitting here for 10 years behind this microphone talking about this seems to be closer to anything I've ever heard. Right?
And it's not just a crisis with young families, it's our elders. There's a real grassroots movement to be at home, be with your family, just like it was when we were little or our grandparents' time. And we just don't have a lot of extra facilities and housing for the family to caretake their elders on their own property.
And there's people working on the project, and that's really good. But we're going to be out of time here, so I want to go back and just to wrap things up here again, because today's show is presented by all of our good friends of the Rogue Valley Association of Realtors and the things that they're doing right now, the big backpack project right now going on through August the 12th. Who wants to tell me again, wrap it up, what we're going to do, where we're going to go, and what we need? There you go, Emma. Okay, Cheryl.
Barbecue is just the kickoff of the collections.
And that
for our
happened. That happened this last week.
Yes, and it will now be through August 12th. We're encouraging everyone to go down to the association office at 629 Franquette Street. Bring in anything you can. That would be great. Backpacks, new supplies. Take advantage of some of the sales. Help out with our drive and our cause to beat last year.
And this covers 500. Both. This covers both Jackson and Josephine counties, correct? And so Maslow gives you give the backpacks and the school supplies to kids in both counties?
Correct. And any donations we receive in Josephine County are going to stay in Josephine County.
Okay.
So your listeners over there in Josephine can kind of rely on that you're giving to your own community.
Sure. Okay. So you got that going on through August the 12th, and you can fill up a backpack yourself and bring it down. Or you can give money.
Yes, and because we are located in both Josephine and Jackson County, you can feel free to drop it off at either office, whether it's in Grants Pass or the Grants Pass one is at Colonial Village up in Grants Pass, or of course our location over on Franquette Street.
And I bet you ask anybody, where's Franquette Street at?
Duck Car Wash.
I was going to say it's by the post office, by the Medford Post Office downtown. The Duck Car Wash. That's a good one too there. Well, that's the way that goes, as we go, and we hope that's going to be a big success. And
if you want to fill up a backpack yourself, there is a list on the website.
Yes.
And what is the website address?
MaslowProject.com.
Okay. So the list is there to go on, or you can fill up yourself. There's no reason why you can't at least do one, right?
Or 5.
Or 5, because you feel good about yourself when you're all done. I mean, that's the cool thing about giving something, isn't it? Is that you feel good about helping somebody else and others. Okay, well, we're going to be out of time. So the Maslow Project again, August the 12th. Habitat, you're doing that as well. RVAR is building 2 places.
One building in the location up in Rogue River.
Okay.
We did it purposely up in that end because we want to make sure our members from Josephine and Jackson County, centrally located, and yes, we plan on completing it by the end of the year.
And have you actually been out there doing this yourself, Cheryl?
Actually, we were out there yesterday for the kickoff barbecue.
Okay.
We started taking registration at that time. And actually, the fun thing we all got to do yesterday was we signed the inner walls.
Oh, really?
So
Oh, yes. People got to put the name of the wall.
Yes, that was very cool.
Yeah.
So that was our kickoff yesterday.
So that's going on. See, so
more
it's
to
not
come.
just about, always it's not just, as much as we talk about all the time about housing, and selling, buying, custom, everything out of that. This is the time we change a little bit. And I like
realtors
that.
are really generous.
Yeah.
I mean, some people think that we're just money grubbing commission people, but it's not true. We care a lot, and we're professional, and we love the leadership we have with RVAR and appreciate them very much, and appreciate the work of the Maslow people because it makes a difference in our community.
Yeah, and if other professional groups were as organized as the realtors are, our community would be a heck of a lot better too, because this is a tremendous organization, as I've learned over the years, and do an awful lot, for not only for its members, but for the community. That's what it's all about. Royal, thank you for being here. Royal Standley from the board of Maslow. Emily Baer, good luck to you. You just started, I know, a few months ago, but you got a big thing ahead of you because Maslow is very well respected, as you guys know. And so continue the good work there. And you got it with RVAR. Well, you connected with them. You got a good group that you're doing it with. So it makes it a lot easier, too. Cheryl, thank you again for your service. President of the association again. Yes. I love that. She's still she's been doing it for
every time I come here.
10 years, whatever. Well, you keep it up. I'll keep voting for you if you do anything else. And Alice, we'll see you next week as well. That's going to do it for the Real Estate Show today here on KCMX News Media 880. Have a great week, everybody. We'll talk to you next Saturday, and God bless you all.